Hey everybody, I'm Andres,
I'm Scott.
And I'm Abe.
and this is Between Two Stands, a show that takes a closer look at the personalities that make up the DSO.
This week on Between Two Stands, it's kind of a special week. First off, we have our first repeating guest, Principal Trombone Ken Thompkins will be joining us shortly. But we also have a new game to play, and it's a game that was inspired by some of my school days, where I had a teacher once, and it was in a studio class, and we were playing, I think, a Mahler symphony, which Mahler notoriously wrote like long sentences to help describe how you would play something.
Not in English.
Yeah, yes. In German and sometimes in German Italian and
Yeah.
all this different thing.
And he even made up some words, right?
Oh, probably. I
Okay.
don't actually know, but so it prompted me to have to buy this wonderful book, the A to Z of foreign musical terms. And I just, there are certain musical terms you have to know as a musician, like allegro means happy or fast, and forte means strong or loud, piano, soft, etc. But then there are some tricky ones that no matter how much experience you have in the orchestra, you might need a book like that. Um, so, just to quiz my wonderful colleagues, I came up with this game called Terms of Endearment. Now,
I'm already feeling fearful.
so the way it works is I have two questions to ask each of you, two terms to give you, and I'm going to give you a real definition and a fake definition given by your competitor. And if you pick the real definition, you get a point, and if you pick the fake definition, your competitor
Ooh, I didn't know
gets a
that.
point.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Okay. So we will start with a word for Andres.
Okay.
All right. The musical term is fiffig, spelled Pfiffig.
Oh, Scott, this is a family show.
I don't know where your mind's
That's
at.
disgusting.
The possible, the possible. Pardon my French. I think it's German. Anyway, the possible definitions are: is fiffig a light, airy sound, or is it crafty or artful?
Crafty or artful? Um,
Fiffig.
I don't even know what to extract out of that word. I thought it started with an F, so I'm gonna say crafty and artful.
That is correct.
Yes!
A point for Andres.
Yes.
Nice.
It was just such a strange definition that I was like, yeah, that's got to be it.
I was kind of impressed by the a light, airy sound.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
Excellent. So Andres is on the board with a point. Now, Abe, are you ready?
Yes.
I need a
Okay.
poker face, by the way.
The word is corchia. It could be corchia. Viewers at home, please help me with my pronunciation. It's Corchea.
Okay.
Now, your possible definitions are a whispery tone or an eighth note. Corchia.
Whoa. A whispery tone.
Incorrect.
That's
Nice.
mine.
Super
That's
obvious.
mine.
I know, it's an eighth note, Corchia.
Nice. What language is that even?
I think it's Spanish. I'm not gonna look it up, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was Spanish.
We'll
which,
look it up on Google after this.
yeah. I mean,
That was a good definition though, Andres.
Thanks,
It's
man.
like both of them are very believable.
It sounded very anatomical to me, like
Right.
I don't know. I just was like, yeah, something with the throat, or I don't know.
it kind of, yeah. I could totally see that. That's one of the things I love about this, because usually when you're looking at these words, it's like, oh, you can kind of figure out what it is. It's like,
Right.
there's some root word that's like expressive, espressivo, or
Right.
something. It's like, oh, I know what that means. But then,
Corky. Why would you ever? Why just say eighth note? Just for the record, just
Well,
say
and
eighth note.
and also just like after playing for so long, sometimes you don't even know what the word means, but you know what you have to do
Yeah.
on the instrument when you see them.
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
Like play
Yes.
eighth notes.
Or like for horn, cuivre or boucher, like the stopped horn or brassy, and it's like,
Right.
oh, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love these words.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for round two, Andres?
Yes.
Andres in the lead.
Yeah.
You got some making up to do.
Okay.
I know.
The next word for you, Andres, is trottinant. Trottinant.
Okay.
Trottinant, which means at a regular rapid pace, or to snap against the fingerboard. Trottinant.
Okay, I was thinking trot because that's like, you're trotting, like on a horse, and I was thinking, but that could be too easy. That could be too easy. But then a fingerboard, that's a very cellist definition there. So, you know what? I'm gonna say the first one. Regular.
A regular rapid pace?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And Andre's perfect. 2 for 2.
Let's go.
Wow.
It'd be
Okay.
perfect if you chose mine.
I think my definition was too specific, huh?
Maybe.
You know, I was a little bit surprised because, like, last time Andres was like, I'm not going with the obvious one. And then this time he's like, I'm going with
It
the
was
obvious
so
one.
obvious. But then the fingerboard, I was like, he's been playing a little too much cello there. He's thinking about his instrument.
Awesome. Okay. Next one for Abe, which I'm not sure you can catch up, but we should finish the game out anyway.
I'll still give it a try.
So as a loser, I'm gonna go ahead and give you your next
Consolation
word.
question.
All right, I think this might be my favorite word of the four. Your word is frapper, spelled Frapper, which would make me laugh if it was in my music anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to play through reading that word.
So, frapper. Does it mean to strike or pound? Or does it mean the stand that holds the piano open? Frapper.
Man, Andres, that's whichever one is yours, it's still really good, man. Well, if we go by Andres's last word, like strike or pound, I mean, he's a percussionist, so that's what he's doing, right? But I don't know. It's a tough one. Let's go with strike or pound. How about that?
That is correct.
Oh,
Correct.
man.
Not a total sweep for Andres.
I
So
thought I
3-1.
had you with that one. Man.
That's good, man. I like that. The piano stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, can you like lower the frapper?
I was like, what's the most random thing that could have a weird name on stage? You
Yeah.
know?
Like if I'm in a piano trio rehearsal, be like, the lid's too high. Let's lower the frapper.
Lower the frapper. Yeah. Nice game, man. I like that.
Yeah, that's a great game.
I'm gonna end up remembering the wrong definition.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Exactly.
All right. Well, nice job. Bravo to the winner, Andres. But I think that after that wonderful introduction to our new game, Terms of Endearment, we should throw it to Larry for our joke of the week.
You know, I never thought the phrase, I wouldn't touch him with a 6-foot pole, would become our national policy. But here we are.
Thank you, Larry. Today we are re-inviting Ken Tompkins, principal trombonist with the DSO. Originally from Maryland, Ken Tompkins did his undergraduate at Northwestern University and his master's at Temple University. He was a member of DSO's African American Fellowship before winning a job with the Buffalo Philharmonic and the Florida Orchestra. He then went on to win Principal Trombone with the DSO. He has performed with many of the major orchestras around the country as well as soloed with the DSO and the New World Symphony. He has also been asked to play and conduct master classes at many of America's elite music schools as well.
And before the interview, please enjoy the short piece from Ken.
Nice job, Ken.
Woo! Very nice.
Bravo.
Nice job, Ken. That sounded great.
Really nice job. So tell us about what we just heard.
You heard the last movement of the Sonata for Solo Trombone by Barney Childs. It's a fantastic piece. It really exploits, a lot of aspects of the instrument that aren't commonly heard when you go to an orchestral concert or even a jazz concert. So it's one of my favorite solo pieces to play, and it's on my recording that I did a few years ago titled Sonatas. What's it called? Sonatas, Songs, and Spirituals.
Hey,
so where is it for sale? Let's plug it.
yeah.
You can get it on Amazon, CD Baby,
Cool.
or my website, KennethTompkins.com.
Oh yeah, go there.
Nice.
Yeah.
You mentioned like some of the characteristic things in that piece. You do some things that aren't as characteristic for trombone. What would you say those are and aren't? Like, what do you get to do in that piece that's specific, or what do you get to do, or what do you think the characteristics of the typical trombone piece are?
Well, one of the things I get to do is play by myself and play a melody, which is something I rarely do in orchestra, and I really do enjoy playing melodies.
I can relate. I can relate.
Yeah. So it's like, wow, I can express myself. It's nice.
Yeah.
So I get to do that. But, more commonly, when you hear trombones and ensembles, you're playing the background. You're playing harmony, or you're playing rhythm, okay? Which is great to set the scene, to paint the scene and support the melody. That's primarily what we do as trombone players. It's very important, just the fine tuning of the balance, really can make something sound exquisite, or if it's poorly done, it'll just sound like, a bunch of guys being mediocre. So the goal is always to make it sound exquisite, and part of the music that's contributing.
Mhm.
Right. I mean,
So-
as the brass section, it's like, how do you not always play louder than everybody else?
We do. What?
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah,
That's the point, man.
That's why we pick our instruments to dominate.
Yeah. So, Ken, how long have you been with the DSO, and tell us about your time, your journey before you got to the DSO, kind of before and after.
Okay, well, I've been in the orchestra for 23 years, appointed by Neme Yarvi in 97. Prior to joining the DSO, I played in the Buffalo Philharmonic. And then prior to that, I played in the New World Symphony for a few years. And prior to that, I had like a 1-year appointment to the Florida Orchestra in Tampa. Prior to that, I was in school. So, I've been here, 23 years. With Neme, there's a lot of excitement because he's very driven as a musician. And then with Leonard, it's totally different, his sensibilities and what he wants to get across to the audience. And so now we're in a new era with Yadar Bianmini, and we'll see what happens. I'm very excited about that.
So speaking of that, what are you looking forward to most with Yadar?
Well, I'm really looking forward to things I'm not expecting, for doing this for so long. I mean, the repertoire is no secret. Like, we play many things frequently, putting it nicely. So, I'm looking forward to the repertoire that he's going to bring to the orchestra. I'm looking forward to how he's actually going to change the sound of the orchestra, which is very exciting to me, because that's a really mark of a fine conductor, is someone that can come in, assess the situation, and then change the sound of the ensemble for the better, and then to build on that. And so he's already demonstrated that he could do that. So I'm just really looking forward to just exploring new music with him.
Yeah, it's amazing even within a week, what we sound like at the beginning of the week to the end of the week. And it's going to be amazing to see, after 1 year, after 3 years, after 6 years, like that's going to be really cool.
Right. And hopefully we'll all grow together.
Yeah.
He's still a relatively young conductor by conductor standards. So hopefully we'll all grow together to build the ensemble to be as fine as it can be.
Yeah, that's right. So since, you mentioned you've been here for 23 years, how do you think the brass section has changed since you've joined?
The sound of it now is, when I first joined, the orchestra sound overall was darker and more rounded. And that was just, the concertmaster at the time played very dark and everything very long and on the bow, on the string. And principal horn played dark, principal trumpet played dark. And then, things changed, sounds changed. We had a different concertmaster come in, and she had a more angular sound, more angular and brighter sound. Principal horn changed, coming in with a brighter sound. So trumpet, the same thing, and it's not good or bad. It's just different. So overall, I think the sound of the orchestra has skewed a bit brighter than it used to be.
It's fascinating to me that you're mentioning the sound of the concertmaster as something that affects how the brass section sounds, because for the most part, I feel like we, just in general, because we're all playing at the same time, at least in the string section, it's hard to pick out individuals. So I wonder how is that something that you look for in how to conceive the sound of the section as one of the leaders?
I don't know if it's conscious.
Okay.
I don't really know if it's conscious, but I'm definitely aware of, look, she was here for a number of years. She brought in several violinists that share that same concept. So it's throughout the violins at this point. And it does affect things, how you hear things, and which, and believe it or not, it does filter back to the back row and how we play things.
Sometimes we're paying attention.
Yeah,
I was gonna say yes. It shows we're listening sometimes.
I was trying to say that. I was trying to say that nicely, basically.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
But, it's all very interesting and exciting. I mean, I don't want to hear someone play the same piece exactly the same way every time we play it.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it interesting to hear people's different interpretations and different color. So that's part of, being a musician is developing and exploring different things.
Yeah.
I feel like we've hit on something here. You talk about with Yoder looking forward to things that are going to be different, and you also talked about some of the rep that like we repeat a lot of times, and I think that's kind of, we've touched on that amongst ourselves on this show a few times. Some of the pieces that we might not love to see done at least the same way as they've kind of often been done over and over again. Like, do you have any examples like that you would like to see change, or is there a piece? I mean,
Scott's asking you, which piece do you not want to see played for a little while?
or if it was going to be played, like, would you like to see it would have to be like a really unique take, and you would be to get you interested in it again, I guess.
This is not
hot take. You heard it here first. I'm putting Ken in a hot seat.
I don't know. I mean,
oh yeah, whatever.
I mean, what, we're gonna do Beethoven 5 with the Windsor Ballet. I mean, I don't know. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the standard repertoire. I do. I love it. It's great. But, you know, I think the orchestra is, in its way, evolving in its own repertoire with the, you know, more frequent performances of underrepresented composers, women composers, African American composers. So things are changing. Really, in my opinion, for the better, to include those different voices that represent, you know, our community and our country as a whole. You know, we can't be, I mean, you know, we are a living, breathing organism. We are not a museum. We're not. If we're, you know, we're people, we have feelings, things are different day to day. So if we can get that into our music, into our repertoire, I think it'll serve everyone for the better.
And, you know, it also, you know, even individually, it seems like it's helpful to change things up because, you know, we when you start playing the same things over and over again, it does kind of start to get a little monotonous, and it's hard to inject that life that you can maybe with a newer piece. You know what I mean? Not that it's. I mean, it's a reason why it's standard and why it's, you know, famous. But, you know, I agree. It's kind of nice to switch it up. But as an individual, you know, looking at new music, you know, you can kind of appreciate the challenge of having to learn a new piece. You know, or having to learn something that you haven't seen 15 times, you know?
Right. And as I was saying, like, you know, we're a living organism, you know, the orchestra is a living organism of individuals, right? And so, you know, we have to be pushed. We have to be stretched.
Yeah.
You know, we have to, you know, it's not pleasant. It's just not, it just isn't. Like, you know, everyone sits in their practice room and you know, you're going through your stuff, and sometimes it sounds good, sometimes you know, it just doesn't sound good, sometimes it's a struggle, but that is just part of the process. And then the same thing goes for an ensemble. Like, you have to push and you have to stretch, and so that's why I'm saying, like, you know, we have to play different repertoire, just to push ourselves, you know, and raise the level overall, keep everything firing.
I really like that. I like that. I like that description a lot. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that also adds to, like, what you said about, like, the way the orchestra has changed over time. Certain patterns that you might get into are going to change the way an orchestra plays, and as a living organism, you're going to see that and hear that with how it sounds. I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so what? When I joined the orchestra, I was the youngest person in the brass section. Everyone was in a low brass section when I joined has retired. So, you know, and then our principal trumpet retired also. So, you know, each time someone different comes in, you know, whether you know it or not, you're going to play slightly differently, you know, depending on who you're sitting next to. You know, the colleagues in the low brass section that I have I'm really thankful for and appreciate their musicianship. But, you know, when you sit down together with different people, things change. It's just, they're different. There's different people there. It's going to be different. So everyone makes these subtle adjustments to make things work.
So, Ken, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, not too much, but
Scott, what's up, man?
I just wanted to take this to, like, drama corner. Who do you not like in the orchestra? And no, and that's what's going on in my brain. I'm sorry.
I told you, Scott has inner dialogues that only he can hear, and we can just appreciate his faces.
The voices are funny sometimes.
So
Nah.
Ken,
I'm glad some of them are funny.
I get asked this a lot. I'm sure you guys do too. But everyone, I think a lot of people assume that we only listen to classical music, even outside of classical music. Which for me, I mean, it's certainly something I like to listen to, and it's a mood, but it's definitely not the only thing I listen to. And I was just kind of curious, some music that you listen to besides classical music, to kind of like give you like an outlet, and actually maybe for the other guys too, just like break that stereotype. Abe, you might be a classical only guy, but no, I'm just kidding.
I'm laughing because we're still really only listening to Raffi at this point. With Sam's turning 2 tomorrow, so we're still in the kid music.
That's better than Baby Shark though, man. A little more refined.
Is it though?
I don't know.
I think you've gone on the deep end when you notice that, if your intonation starts to go a little bit flatter because you're listening to Raffi.
Right.
He's certainly on the low end of his pitch. That's my experience with Raffi. So I love listening to jazz, and I grew up listening to jazz and going to jazz concerts around Baltimore, where I'm from, and I love the spontaneity and the energy of it, and it really helps inform in a way how I approach classical music, because I want it to have that type of freshness and a sense of spontaneity that, of course I'm not improvising, but I want it to just sound fresh, have that type of energy to it, which is, so great and refreshing. I just love it. Listening to, jazz singers, and I love listening to Gregory Porter. He's a great jazz singer. And some of the, old favorites, Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Lou Rawls, pop singers, of course, Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, Al Green, just, and when I listen to these, awesome musicians, I'm still thinking, wow, that sounds so special and unique. It's totally them. And how do I get to a point in my playing where it sounds like just uniquely me? Yeah. I'm not sounding like one of my teachers or something I heard on an album, but it's totally my voice.
That is something that I always appreciate with other genres, and especially jazz, where it's like each version they do it is different, and
right.
There's always something different because inherently it's new, So yeah,
right.
We have a smaller margin for that, but I feel that I like that, trying to do that too, making it unique.
Yeah, I mean, this is our voice.
Yeah.
Our instruments are our voice. So, you might as well refine it.
Right.
And try to just get it out there in as much of a positive way as you can.
I have a friend. He's a classical composer, and he actually lives in Michigan. But he's he's a classical composer. Like very good. But when he's working and when he's doing stuff, he has to listen to death metal, and it's like, it's the strangest grouping of genres. I'm just like, and that's cool. I like that. That's something that no one would know about him.
So is it white noise?
It is to me. I mean, it's like, but no disrespect to that genre, but yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds
loud
like
white noise.
Yeah, I just kind of wonder if that's his,
Yeah, it is kind of, it's just like filter, nothing space, right?
Right. That's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, having been, here for a little bit, we were just wondering any performances or moments in your career here at the DSO that have stood out to you?
Yeah, there's a couple that have stood out. When I first won the orchestra, we did this European tour with Neme Yarvi, and we were playing I think Shostakovich 11. It was 10 or 11, and we, it was one of those crazy days where the flights were late. We're all running late. We were, dropped our stuff off at the hotel and ran to the concert hall and warmed up and performed, and no one had ate dinner. But I don't know. It was like one of those things that, to me, I mean, Neme knew Shostakovich, and it's from Estonia. I mean, he knew about Soviet oppression, and he really could live that music and impart the gravity of it. And I don't know. We did one of these performances. I was like, whoa, it was something that was in the air that was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, and then another incredible story would be several years ago, we used to have this conductor come in, Leif Sigerstem, and he was a large man that kind of fashioned himself after Brahms because he had a big, big bushy beard. In addition to conducting, he was also a composer. So we were performing one of his pieces, Opera, which was April. And the orchestra setup that week was, we were in our traditional place, but there were two pianos on stage, one in front of the low brass and one on the other side of the stage. So we were playing this piece, and at one point in the music, it says, he wrote this. It says, "Scream orgasmically." That's what it says in the music.
How literal did you take that, Ken?
I didn't go for it. But he did, because in the performances, he would get off the podium and walk towards the back and start banging the piano and screaming like a madman. And so that was pretty hard to not laugh about.
Is that in the archive somewhere? Can we pull it up?
That's prior to the archives.
There are videos that I've seen of him conducting, like letting loose and just screaming away, like he's conducting. Even if it's not his piece, it was like Scheherazade or something.
Right.
He
was encouraged. I saw that video, but he was encouraging the orchestra to act like pirates and scream and yell.
I mean, some of the most memorable times are maybe not I mean, you kind of described it, like those really special performances where like there's something otherworldly, present, and then there's those moments where like I can't stop laughing, and I think those are the two memorable times on stage, and and I think it's because they're both really fun.
They are fun. I mean, I think I love to perform. I love playing. I love my colleagues, and the good and bad. So people are going to show themselves good and bad. That's just who we are, right?
Right.
And it seems like it's either I'm like, wow, I can't believe so and so played that so beautifully, or it's like, wow, I can't believe so and so just said that, or they just did that, or they fell asleep and fell off their chair, or just something ridiculous.
Just like any job, it's always funny when something out of the ordinary happens.
Right.
Oh man, that's funny.
I think musicians have a unique perspective in that too, because we really enjoy not having a normal work environment, and and the kinds of things, and also not having, I think this is fair, not having normal colleagues. Like we've all been so driven toward like this one goal. It's kind of like a special type of person that stays the course and becomes an orchestral musician, I think.
We spent
Yeah.
a
It's
long
great.
time in a room alone, Scott.
Yes.
Well, that's true. Like, I'll put it this way. Every orchestra is like a mixed bag of nuts. You know, that's what it's kind of like.
Yeah,
Got some different flavors going on there.
right.
But they're all nutty.
So,
All
so Ken, I wanted to wrap up the interview and ask you kind of more general question about Detroit. You know, all of us are not originally from here, you know, and kind of wanted to see, you know, what about Detroit have you found is unique and special to you?
I first came here to do the fellowship program, African American Fellowship Program in '92, and I didn't know anything about Detroit. And at first I came here and I was like, okay, what's going on? Because it looked and felt different than really any place I've ever been. But I mean, really, that's a long time ago. And over the years, the people here are great. Such an openness and a warmth in the people that you meet. There's such a wonderful pride that people have in Detroit. And Detroiters, as I love to say, Detroiters love Detroiters. It's uncanny. It's like someone will ask me if I'm from Detroit, and I was like, no, I'm from Maryland, and they act so disappointed. Like I want to say, but it's I love it.
I feel like I'm from here.
Yeah, I feel like I'm from here.
Yeah.
I've been here for so long. And this is America. There's so many ethnicities here. So many wonderful cultural things that are happening in the city. I mean, to me, like this is America.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, I know what you mean, like, I'm from LA originally, and that's a pretty mixed too. But when I travel other places, like that's one of the first things I notice. Is how homogenous is it, or what I mean, and that's I really do like coming back here and feeling that.
Yeah. Historically, it's a significant place. Being the arsenal of the democracy during World War II, and prior to that, much earlier, being a stop on the Underground Railroad. I mean, there's fantastic history here. It's just really incredible that it's just not obvious.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you walk around and you see these things, and it's like, oh wow, that happened here.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a great place.
Well, Ken, man, you're a great dude, great player. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you so
Thanks
much,
for being
man.
here.
Yeah, it's been great.
See you at the
All right.
concert tomorrow.
I'll be there
Yeah. Text me if I'm not. See you.
with my
Right.
my mixed bag of nuts.
Yeah. Later, Ken.